Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Can we cancel this season?
We watched a great movie last time.
We did. It was fantastic.
The top hit.
2024 out with a bang.
That's right.
Like,
Leaving on a high note. Nothing else happened that year film-wise whatsoever.
Nope.
Except the next the movie we're talking about today, which is I feel like my hope is that this isn't a punishment.
Okay. Wait.
Uh-huh.
We need to rewind a second here.
Mhm.
You need to announce what we're going to watch first and foremost.
I'm getting there because
I'm about to ask a question which is referential to the title.
Gotcha. So last episode we watched The Wild Robot. That was our kind of best of 2024. And now we're going to be talking about potentially the worst of 2024, which we'll find out here in a little bit, of Borderlands, the film based on the movie, the video game, the film, the visual novel, that thing. Anyways, your question was?
What number of Borderlands do you hope this is? Because we know it's not going to be Tales.
What number of I feel like the one that they'll be aiming for is 2. That has to be the one, right?
That's the problem.
Uh-huh.
Because I think number 1 has solid writing, and
Sure.
I think is a genuinely fine game. Number 2 is when they started getting meme-tastic.
Well, and it had it had the villain. Like the villain that the
Yes.
series isn't going to be able to get away from for a really long time. From
And
a game standpoint.
It still isn't away from it
Right.
at this point.
Right. I mean, I feel like that. To me, when I think of Borderlands, I think of 2 and pre-sequel, which are both kind of they're kind of like sister games. So that's probably where they'll go. I think that's sort of, so I don't know too much about this, which we'll get into in a minute, but Handsome Jack can't be in this movie, right? Like, you're not.
I bet he's the stinger at the end.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that
Like
better
in the
or worse?
post-credits sequence, it's Handsome Jack's arrival.
Riding Sparkle Pony, whatever that.
Yeah, the stupid unicorn joke that they just ran into the ground and then beat until it was dead and then back alive again.
Kept digging more. I think, so the thing that I'm really concerned about with Borderlands, and to me, it's different from one of our previous bad movies of Morbius, because when you looked at Morbius, there was, and it was very similar to Madam Web, which was kind of in the running here for our worst movie of this twofer. There was like a level of memeing on it, but there's also a level of...
It's Morbin time.
That's right.
And the phrase of 2023, it's Morbin time.
And Madam Web had the, like, she died while I was studying spiders in Costa Rica, or whatever that line was.
I literally have not seen a Madam Web meme, so I don't know what you're talking about. That was great.
That was the big one from the trailer of, like, you've delivered a weird line in the most awkward way. But in both of those cases, for Morbius and for Madam Web, it did have loud fans of, like, maybe this movie isn't good, and maybe you're not going to enjoy it, but there's something about it I really like. And
yes,
maybe they love B movies, or maybe they love comic book things, or there's an actor they love or something. My big concern about Borderlands, there's none of that. There's just this, like, malaise of just uncaring.
I think this is going to have a very much a similar problem that the Minecraft movie has. So, you haven't seen the remake of Jumanji, correct?
With, like, Jack Black and The Rock and... No, I have not.
that when I saw the trailers for that, it felt like a paycheck movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
When I saw the movie, they knew what they were in, and they 100% gave it everything.
Their tongue was firmly in cheek the whole movie.
Yes.
Right.
I feel like this is a paycheck movie, and it's going to remain a paycheck movie. Do you know the cast of this movie?
Oh my god, yeah, like when they announced like Kate Blanchett was going to be playing Lilith, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? you got who for the Borderlands? And it was like, okay, Jack Black is in there as Claptrap. Kevin Hart is in there. I was like, well, that makes sense. Kevin Hart is in a lot of stuff. And they're like, he's Roland. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, and it's, I don't know who else is in there. I know that Jamie Lee Curtis is in there, and
Gina Gershon is in there.
I know that someone is playing Tiny Tina, and I don't know who. The idea
of a live action Tiny Tina.
The idea that you put Tiny Tina in literally anything in the year of our baby Yoda 2024 is so mind-boggling, because it was Tiny Tina as a character, as a 1 foot over the line of offensive stereotypes when Borderlands 2 came out was bad enough. And then in 2024 to be like, yep, we're going to put her in another thing. It's just like, no.
Here is the worst part for me. I genuinely think Tiny Tina is an interesting character. Like, a kid who's literally brought up in this world and is literally scarred mentally and emotionally by their trauma.
On paper is a very interesting character.
It's super duper interesting. And I hate to say this, why didn't you just get the voice actors? Why didn't you just get Ashley Birch to play
Ashley
her?
Birch is going to be in anything, man. Like, and she's great.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
Ghost and Molly McGee got canceled, so like she's free.
She did the voice.
Yeah.
Like, if you want Tiny Tina, cast Tiny Tina.
Yeah.
Who is also an actress and has done mocap work with the Naughty Dog Studios, and is about the right height for a young for a girl as well.
Sure.
Because she's tiny.
But they're like, the idea of this like borderline racist stereotype that was problematic when Borderlands 2 came out, and you're just gonna like, I sincerely hope that they have changed enough of the character to have it be less offensive in general, while still trying to balance that sort of like unhinged child sort of thing. I think you can write that character in an interesting way. And like you said, I think on paper, it's a fun idea, but it just executed in the most like 2007 way possible originally.
Yeah, but it's not 2007 anymore.
Exactly. And like, one of my other concerns is like, sure, you have Jack Black as Claptrap, which is fine because I feel like that's the corner that Jack Black has gotten painted into, is like, hey man, you need a big old dumb voice for a dumb animated character in your movie. Jack Black's your man. You also need him to do that same thing but live action. Jack Black and his big beard. He's
literally Steve in the Minecraft movie. He's Bowser in the Mario movie. He's done it all.
Yeah, like he will take your paycheck. Don't worry about it. But like, what's interesting to me, and I think that this is going to be something that is going to be an interesting struggle to watch while watching this movie, is so much of Claptrap is that character's delivery in the game. That kind of like balancing this like bright terror that Claptrap kind of always has.
Again, something who was super charming in the first game and super cool, then got okay in the second game, like kind of middle of the road-ish, kept maintained, and then in the third game it's just like kill Claptrap just to get rid of it. Just fed up Claptrap.
Push him down a flight of stairs. Like so like, it's interesting because like, to me, if you were going to make a Portal movie, you get that woman to voice act GLaDOS. Because it's so intrinsically tied to that character, is that vocal performance. that Claptrap feels the same way to me. Like, putting aside the level of humor or what the character is, that delivery of that character feels so tied to Claptrap that separating that, even for someone who I really like in Jack Black, it feels like it's interesting. But it's it's the nature of the movie industry of like, yeah, our movie's got Jack Black on it. You want to come see it? And it's like, sure, yeah, okay.
I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm from the UK and I can never remember what the American version of this is called. What's the Peggy rating for the movie?
Oh, MPAA, I think it is. Yeah, what is this? This has to be an R-rated
I can
movie.
tell you, I know.
It's got to be R.
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, remember when we did Venom?
I was literally just about to say, hey, what's the one choice you could make for your M-rated video game that's all about swearing and gross humor and explosions and blood and pushing a scientist down stairs and his health bar disappears as he falls? Like, God, why? Jesus, God.
Every single game in this franchise is an M/18. Every single one of them.
Why are... Oh, my God. Okay, cool. Yep, Great choices all around. We're really killing it.
Who drops the F-bomb?
Tiny Tina?
You think Tiny Tina?
Either that or whoever Jamie Lee Curtis plays, because that would be funny, too. I hope it's not Claptrap. That's too on the nose.
100% I think it's Claptrap, dude.
Yeah, I hope it isn't, because that's like a little too on the nose. But yeah, do we see just one F-bomb since this is PG-13? Oh my God, it's just like every choice leading up to this movie, which was announced, by the way, 10 years ago.
It's even better, by the way, because the original cut was R-rated.
Of course it was. Well, go buy the Blu-ray. It'll have the R-rated version on there, I'm sure. And along with a black and chrome version, too.
Yeah, minor spoiler alert, like, the studio decided it shouldn't be R-rated. They needed a wider audience.
Also, why don't you get Eli Roth to direct your movie and then get a PG-13
Put it as a PG-13?
Yeah.
Isn't he like a horror, like, legend?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I say that.
Uh-huh.
But we have a very serious... What's the word? We have a very serious palate cleanser destined for the next season.
Yes. Yeah.
The same director who directed all of those did Happy Feet, so I can't say nothing.
True. Fair. Hey, man, sometimes you just got to make your mortgage, and I don't blame him. Like, you know, you
get that boat money.
Yep. Got to get the money where you can.
Or in that case, get the Sue Warner Brothers money. As the case may be.
And get behind you on that one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else can think of for this movie other than just self-preservation, caution.
I mean, did I just put like the final nail in the coffin for you by saying it's PG-13?
The thing is, I've been looking at this movie out of the corner of my eye for about 6 months like a brightly colored frog in the jungle. Like, I know there's nothing good that's going to come out of touching that thing. It's not a brightly colored
frog. It's a pair of eyes in the night is what it is.
That's right. Like, there's like a when your lizard brain takes over and you're like, don't touch that. Don't watch that. You know it's going to be bad. You know it's going to hurt you mentally, spiritually, probably not physically, but you know, we'll check out the second part of this episode. The thing that concerns me the most, like I said, is there's just such a lack of anybody having, like, people who went to see it that didn't like it was just like, yeah, it's bad. It's not the worst thing ever. I have heard virtually nobody that has come out of it even saying like, yeah, I had fun. Like, it was dumb and bad, but I had fun with it. Just nothing at all.
Yep.
Yeah. concerning.
Minor thing. Do we think they just do the Borderlands 1 plot? They're trying to get to the vault and open it, and then I'm assuming in the end, minor spoiler for the Borderlands game, there's a giant monster inside.
I feel like you kind of have to, because I feel like that's Borderlands' thing, is the vault now. And as the Borderlands games kind of continue, it seems to be, oh, well, it just wasn't the one or the two. There's just hundreds of vaults, which is fine. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that's bad. But
I mean,
like...
credit where it's due. They did an incredible thing when they announced Borderlands 2. It was like, hey, it did open up and give everyone wealth beyond their desires. It created Iridium.
Yeah.
It's like, that's great.
Yep.
You added a new thing and used the story to do it in a fantastic way that makes sense for a sequel.
They have to be going for the vault at the end. You're right. If not, I don't know what they're...
What even is this movie?
Right, like they're fighting a bad guy who wants to unite the bad guys. Are they still called psychos? Probably not. Hopefully not.
Yes, they are, I believe.
Boy. Okay.
You could even play as one of them in Borderlands 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
And his class was Psycho.
There was that one DLC character for 2 as well. Yeah. Hopefully in Borderlands 4, okay. The one thing I hope they don't do, and the one thing I hope they leave in Borderlands behind in Borderlands 4, is referencing little people as the M word. That would be a great thing that we could maybe drop completely.
Yep.
Which would be great. So, all right. Any final thoughts here before we go watch Borderlands the movie?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
Tell me the deep cuts you're expecting to see in this movie, like the memes and the references. Give me some references.
I hope we see something with Torg. I think he's one of the best characters. Even if it's just like
2. You're not gonna see him until 2. Come on.
But even like if they have him as an announcer for something,
True.
Him just yelling explosions.
I'm not too concerned about like the weapons manufacturers or the company names because they're pretty much a given. It's like, what apart from that do we see?
Are they gonna fight like one of those? I feel like one of the more common enemies that aren't humans are those like little poisonous dog things. I feel like that's like one of the first things they fight, maybe.
I mean, yes.
Training montage.
Oh, wait. Sorry for the if you hear the random typing. I apologize.
What are we Google? Okay, so you're Googling a reference, I think, at this point.
Yes. I want to know, do you think we get a Cage the Elephant song?
Oh man. Boy, that was so...
That is how I know that band is from Borderlands 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. Are they still even together? I don't even know.
No, dude.
That would be okay. That would be pretty fun. I'm trying to think if there are any other kind of references that I can think of from Borderlands that isn't
was it a loot goblin that jumped out of the... Nope, it was the loot M word that jumped out of the...
That's pretty common
containers.
For loot games of loot goblins, though. Like, it's hard because the identity of Borderlands for so long has been...
It's the guns.
Yeah, it's been 50 bajillion guns, and then the next trailer, it's 8,000 bajillion guns. Like, it's been...
I mean, we have to see a memorable legendary gun, right? Like, we
Sure.
probably don't get the shotgun.
Do you get the yelling gun, the one that yells when you fire it?
Probably not. I hope not, because if Jack Black does that voice too, it's going to be hilarious.
That's true.
Cage the Elephant is still together, by the way.
Is there like a loot explosion at some point? How much do you lean into the games being video games of like, you kill a monster and just 5 guns fly out of it?
I mean, you have to, right? That's got to be the like, you defeat the monster from the vault, the loot explosion happens.
True.
Everyone celebrates. Cut to black. Handsome Jack.
We wrote the script for the movie already.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I can't wait to see how obnoxious Tiny Tina is in this, and see
I'm terrified.
if I actually laugh or not. Because I'll be honest, dude, I could kind of do with a dumb, not think about it, laugh at the dumb, stupid, obvious jokes moment right now.
If this movie could lean all the way into being a popcorn movie and just like a big popcorn action movie, I could be in the mood for that, sure. But it's kind of like walking a fine line in general.
It's one of the finest lines, and it's a PG-13. Just to remind everybody about that.
Yeah.
They have a guy who begs you to shoot him in the face
That's
in the game.
He's got to show up, right? He's in some bandit camp somewhere.
I already know that we see Moxie because I already mentioned that she's cast.
Oh, okay. That's a smart call.
Do we see Scooter? Catch a ride.
He's got to be in there. Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, right?
He's pretty critical, I think. Yeah. All right. On that note, let's go watch the film.
Do we have to?
Unfortunately,
we could have done the red one, dude.
We could have. Save it for our bad Christmas movies season.
Just Christmas movie season, dude. We don't even have to make it a bad one.
It's true. It's true. Hey, Moon.
Yes, Boston.
What happened? What?
Yeah.
I want to read the book about what the hell happened with 2024's Borderlands.
So, I stopped taking notes maybe about 20 minutes into this movie.
Okay.
Because I realized about 20 minutes into this movie, there was no point in taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was 0 point in taking notes. Because this movie is not terrible.
No, that's also what I wanted to come in here and say is this is not an unwatchable mess, but it's really not very good. And
yes,
the worst part about it is it's formulaic, but just plain boring. Like there's just, for a game that's so like big and bombastic and over the top as Borderlands, this movie's just boring. Like it's just a boring B-rate popcorn movie.
I wouldn't even give it a B rating, dude.
Like, no, I did not give it a B rating on Letterboxd. Let me tell you,
it is an action movie
mm-hmm.
that doesn't have much action.
Right.
It is a character team-based movie that doesn't have a solid team or character building.
Right.
And if you have played the video games, the thing they're leaning on you believing, you know to be false from the very first moment of the movie.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's almost like they made a mistake by having the main character / bounty hunter be a siren.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to think that Tina is a siren instead.
Yeah.
And also, where is Zero? By the by.
Yeah,
why
Zero's
did you
cool.
do Krieger?
Yeah.
Why not Zero?
Yeah, why, like, okay. I'm going to try and pepper in as much good sort of positivity as I can in this movie.
Okay. We could start on the positive. It looks phenomenal for the most part.
I will agree. I wish we still lit movies in an interesting way, because I think most of this movie is lit very flat, which I think makes piles of video game junk look especially stupid in this movie, where like especially when you're kind of introduced to Claptrap and Tina for the first time, and the film's just kind of zooming in on a pile of trash, and I'm like, oh, that's no, okay, maybe video games are dumb. Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh boy, okay.
They are.
But largely, I think it does an okay job at capturing one of video games' most boring locales, which is Pandora, which is like not the place to like put this movie. It's not the place to put like 7 video games either. But that's, you know, an entirely separate season
That's
of
what
a
they did.
different show. Yeah, I agree that I think
It looks the part.
it looks the part. I think half of the movie's costuming is pretty solid. I think Lilith's
Okay.
outfit
Okay.
I think is really solid, and it looks
Yep.
the most practical while still looking
Mhm.
like a Borderlands thing. I think they nailed a lot from Lilith, but I think a lot of that is Kate Blanchett nails this role of just this like
Kate Blanchett also is incredible in everything, even when
right
it's a boat movie.
like she's this is clearly look, I'm not here to insult any actors, but this is very clearly a paycheck movie, which is fine. Everybody's got to pay their mortgage, man. Everybody's got bills.
Yeah.
I'm not here saying
Everybody's
like,
got super yachts to buy.
right. Nobody in this movie's bought a super yacht, but like,
We hope,
dude.
Come on.
But Kate Blanchett, I think, does the most with a role that
She feels like she's having fun with it.
yeah, and I really like the like she never goes too far with the tired bounty hunter thing. Like she's very clearly like, I'm just here to make some money. Atlas gave me like a bajillion zeros on my bank account. I'm just here to find this kid. Like who cares? Pandora, hooray! But like
Yeah.
I think she does a really solid. I think she's one of 2 people in this movie that I think does an outstanding job. And I'm curious if you can guess who the other one is.
It's not Roland because
It's
that
definitely
guy
not.
phones it in.
No,
He phones it
look,
in to the Kevin Hart phones this
Kevin
in so
Hart
bad.
phones in a lot of roles. He's phoning this one in from the next town over. Like doesn't want to be here.
I never thought I would say this, but put The Rock in there and have him be the funny man to The Rock's straight man.
Sure,
Jesus
like,
sakes.
get something in there, man. Like
Kevin Hart is not a straight man. He should never be
No.
a straight man. That is
Yeah.
not his role. He
Yeah.
can't pull it off. I hate to say this, and I know there was a movie about how he's an action hero, but I don't care.
that's a different season of this show.
It's not Krieger, because Krieger doesn't get any lines, and he's a psycho.
I do want to talk about Krieg because I think
The fact that he doesn't get any of his lines and they're all ripped directly from the video games.
well, so I think his design looks okay. I think he looks like Krieg looks in in Borderlands 2.
He has the painted on abs too, just to make it even better.
Right. It's really good. But I'm with you. He has some of the worst ADR I've heard in a movie for a long time that I didn't realize until pretty late. Like you said, I'm 90% sure that's just lines from the movie.
Just from the video game.
Or from the game, which sucks. Like, those, number one, none of those lines are good out of context.
Nope.
They're not even good in context in the game.
Nope.
They're supposed to be like almost illegible kind of nonsense.
And also, isn't Krieger from Borderlands 2 DLC?
Yeah.
Shouldn't he and then I think he started in Borderlands 3 as a main character. Why are you cross-mingling your video games here? Where is Zero? I ask again. Pointing to Zero.
Where are
missing.
any of the cool characters? Where's
the little dwarf guy who shoots 2 guns all at once and does a whole bunch of yelling and carrying 2 guns?
Oh yeah, whatever his name was. Where's Hammerlock? One of Borderlands' greatest characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So Tiny Tina is the person you actually like then?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Okay.
So
it's not one of. Wait, is it Tannis?
No. Well, she does a pretty good job, but it's not. I want to talk about Tiny Tina and Atlas's actors because this is like, for me, this is the revenge of the kids' movies and TV shows. So Tiny Tina's actor, Ariana Greenblatt, was one of the main actors in the television show Stuck in the Middle. She was like the feral, like youngest child, and didn't. She was very young in that show and like didn't do a really great acting job. I think she does a okay job in this with a vastly watered down Tina, which
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know you're missing the R rating with Tina. That's
yeah
when I felt like the R rating was missing the most.
for
'Cause
like
it's
a
no, Tina has a mouth like a sailor,
right
and it's part of who Tina is.
from Tina and like a overall violence perspective. I think that's where you miss so much of that. The other one is Edgar Ramirez playing Atlas. He is the father in the Yes Day Netflix movie, and boy, he phones in a lot of that performance, and he feels like he's phoning in a lot of this performance of just like, "Hi, it's me, Atlas. I'm the bad guy here. What a pew 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 pew. You guys get me into the vault, the vault, the vault."
So it wasn't Claptrap?
No,
Who's left, dude? We named them all, except for Moxie.
It's
Wait,
it's definitely not Moxie.
is it Marcus?
You got it.
It was Marcus.
It's
right?
Marcus.
Yes, okay.
If there's anybody that so perfectly emulates the performance of the game
He did a great
character,
job. He did an
he
absolutely great job.
nails it,
Yes, you are
man.
correct.
Get more people like him
Hello,
in this
Vault
movie.
Hunter. I'm not a Vault Hunter.
Yeah. I like that she's like, "Hey man, can you? I'm not a vault hunter. Can you turn off these things?" He's like, "No." It's just like,
No.
"Yep, great."
This ride is free for Vault Hunters.
That's right. Like he really nails it in a way that I thought for a while during his first appearance that they just took lines from the film for him. I just think that's that dude's voice.
Game.
Either that or
Yes.
they're dubbed over with the game's voice actor, but I couldn't find any.
He does a great job. I
Yep.
agree with you there.
He does a great job
Fantastic.
the whole movie through.
Also, he called out something that I noticed.
What's that?
Lilith has the Infinity Pistol,
Yes.
the one that when it rotates in the figure of 8 and it never runs out of bullets.
I like that he's always like, he's not introducing himself to anybody. He's introducing him to their guns. Of just like, oh,
Yeah,
look
it's
at
like, I
this.
never forget a gun.
It's not. He does a great job, man. Like, they actually did
Yep.
a pretty good job on his bus too. Like, it looks like the
It
bus
looks
from
like the bus.
Borderlands 2. Like,
Speaking of which,
mhm.
rewinding back to the beginning, did you catch the Cage the Elephant song?
No, because there wasn't one in this movie. After looking at the soundtrack,
Yeah, there was.
where
I'm sure there was. In the bar at the very beginning, I'm pretty sure there's a Cage the Elephant song Lilith that is playing in the bar.
okay,
When Lilith gets hired by Atlas.
okay, I'd have to go double check because when I looked at the list of licensed songs in this movie, that didn't show up. But I would have to double check and check the scene.
It's Back Against the Wall is the song.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
googled Cage the Elephant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
Back
There's-
Against the Wall in that scene, and it's Cage the Elephant. It's like,
Okay.
okay, you're putting your finger a little bit on the obvious
Yeah.
thing here,
They should have stopped
get
with
it.
the licensed music at that point because it just goes downhill from there.
they
Um,
got Muse, and I'm so sad.
It's the worst scene for a Muse song to be in, like the most nonsense. It's like an Illumination movie. It's like, what? Why is this song in here? Especially when you have actually
No,
a
boss,
pretty solid
it's like-
score.
It's like Moulin Rouge, where it's just the weirdest song choices of all time.
I love
Have
that
you seen
soundtrack,
Moulin
though.
Rouge?
I will.
The soundtrack is great because it's
Yeah.
the greatest hits of all time.
Yeah, it's really
In the
good.
movie, it's not great.
Yeah, the score for this movie is actually really solid. I wish they would have
Yes, they-
given a little bit more breathing room.
So
Um,
I think they do a good job of emulating the Borderlands vibe and feel. And I have to bring up another question at this point.
Mhm.
A while back, maybe 2 or 3 years ago at this point, there was a very heated hatred, correctly, justifiably so, directed in the direction of Disney.
Okay.
Of like, yo, you're creating this Hawkeye TV show, and you're using all of the iconography, the basic storyline that was created by these artists and these writers, but they don't get a penny of anything, despite the fact that you're reusing it in a different format for this thing.
Right, they're not getting
You're
the
not gonna
residuals.
Yes, they're not
Right.
getting residuals. You're not going to monetarily compensate them for the work they did. You're just going to rip it off wholesale and use it because you quote unquote own it, which
Yep.
legally speaking they do.
Mm-hmm.
How many of the original Borderlands dev team do you think got
Right.
any form of monetary compensation for everything
I'm
in this
gonna
movie?
guess it's 0.1% of them, and that 0.1% is probably Randy Pitchford, and that's about it.
Well, he was an executive producer on the movie Boston, so
God,
of course.
I'm so sorry to hear that he didn't, manage to fleece someone else or something, uh,
Mhm.
allegedly. Um, we started to talk about Claptrap. Claptrap's design, I think they nail. I think they do a really good
Mhm.
job of nailing what is now a fairly iconic character design, even though it's kind of just a
Yes,
triangle. Um, Jack Black,
it's fine.
he does such an aggressively fine job in an afternoon's
Mhm.
recording session that he's just Jack Black with a voice filter, which like it's fine. Like you got to
Yeah.
put big names on your movie poster. Like I get it. I
Well,
just
technically you don't, but yes, I get it.
yeah. But like there's it straddles the line between this isn't really Claptrap, which is fine, and then it's kind of just Jack Black, which is fine. And
Mhm.
they
Do you want to know how
never
I know it's not Claptrap?
hmm
Claptrap? Because he's not so annoying you want to kick him.
right. Everybody
He's
treats him
actually
like
fine
that.
as a character.
Right. I do, I do like that he's always getting left behind because people like just don't
Mhm.
care about him, but they don't hate him enough, which is a wild
The,
thing to
the
say.
problem is they hate him so much more for what we see is the problem.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with Claptrap is he's supposed to be super annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's fine. It's
And let's ignore the retconning of Tina completely, shall we?
yeah, it's Tina's history in the games is kind of muddy and difficult anyway.
Yes.
And I think you need the audience to believe in the movie for a little bit that she's just managing to scrape by on Pandora before she tries to blow up Lilith. Um,
Everybody.
yeah, but like it's fine. And like her and Krieg being like a dynamic
Best
duo
friends.
just doesn't feel super great either. I just
It doesn't feel earned.
yeah, it doesn't like you it seems like they've been on Pandora for a while like with Roland, which also doesn't feel earned at all. Um but like none of it really makes sense. Like Krieg is always relegated to just being the guy that's running behind them spouting gibberish and like he has an axe.
Yep.
Like that's really
Was Roland's turret as well, by the way, just out of curiosity. You
uh
had 3 or 4 scenes where he is in a corridor with enemies at the other end of the corridor.
right.
What a perfect moment to pull the box from behind you, throw it on the floor, and a turret with a shield set up. Whoa!
Well, I can
What
run
an
away now.
incredible thing that would have been.
It's like Christmas. Like it would have yeah,
Not once did they say it's like Christmas.
right.
We didn't get a loot explosion, Boston.
Right. And like we did get some pretty interesting references in kind of the intro sort of like almost sizzle reel at the beginning of the movie, but that was really about it. Like you get a tour, you get a couple of extra stuff, and it's basically like, yeah, corporations took over Pandora and now it sucks. And it's like, okay, I mean, sure, I guess.
I did like the fact that the mask, when they say mask up when they go into Sanctuary right after the worst muse hit on the face of the planet,
Uh-huh.
they all put on masks. And I like the fact that Lilith is wearing a Lilith from the video game mask.
Yes.
Like she's literally just wearing the video game character's face.
Yep, it's pretty good. Yeah. Um we do have Gina Gershon as Mad Moxie, which is just come on. Just the most the
Stunt casting.
it did, like, she didn't need to. It just didn't. You probably could have written that character out and would have been fine, and just left it to Tanis to do the kind of backstory heavy lifting. I get that you want to have Moxie in your movie. You didn't need to, this didn't need to happen. You could have not done. Jamie Lee Curtis as Tanis, though. Oh,
She does fine
she does
as
okay.
the completely disassociative scientist.
Right.
Yeah, she does fine.
It's funny too, because like
I know we're getting close because I have emotions is one of the most annoying lines I've probably ever heard, though.
Yeah, I Tannis is so interesting because I played so much Borderlands 2, especially with my wife. Um and like Tannis is one of those characters that people remember very fondly, and I have no affection for from the game whatsoever. Um and having her being thrust as this like foster parent to Lilith from Pandora that Lilith like barely remembers, like I don't know, man. Um we do have I did like Bobby Lee showing up in this movie as Larry, who's Roland's roommate, who's just it's just Bobby Lee again. So like he's that dude in every role. Really surprised to see Janina Gavankar as Commander Knox, which they have taken an incredible actor. She's really good and put her in a
The most bit part roles.
like a paper thin role with an atrocious haircut, and just like, here you go nuts. And it's like, okay, oh, she got
Knox
blown
is
up.
actually
Okay.
interesting in the game too.
Yeah, like Knox has a cool role, like especially the kind of the deeper you get into the a bunch of the DLC stuff. But here it's just like, I'm a bad guy. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, Atlas is bad. Blah, I'm dead. Like it's just, it's really.
Roland was right.
Yep.
How much was cut from this movie, Boston?
It feels like quite a bit.
Apparently, the first cut was R-rated.
I would pay good money to see even like a assembly
cut with
cut
no special effects.
Yeah, like an assembly cut or a rough cut version of whatever that is, just to see. Like, I'm really surprised they didn't put it on the Blu-ray, because I thought that was going to be the opportunity to be like, oh, it's the original cut, the R-rated cut, the Pandora edition or something. Maybe that'll be the 10-year anniversary of this or whatever.
This makes so much sense. The movie was shot in the summer of 2021, reportedly finished in early 22. However, it was deemed incomplete, including studios' objections to the first cut, R-rated. Eli Roth, the director, refusing to return due to studio interference and poor screen testing.
I mean, you can see studio interference written all over this one. Like, it's...
They hired a different director to take over the reshoots.
I mean, the only movie that I think I have seen that feels more like a studio cut than this one is Aloha, which is... That movie was cut within an inch of its life. But this one feels very similar, of like, okay, drop in the Muse song here. Now we're going to do the second act here. Oop, time for the third act. Let's go. Like, it just feels like the most kind of formulaic cut, and interspersed with like the most workman-like action scenes that I've seen in a really long time, with 4 or 5 people on screen that are really trying their best, of just like boring gunfights and like lame, tame action of like, here's 13 more people rushing at us kind of slowly and walking down the stairs. Ooh. Like,
yep.
It never feels like there's any stakes.
No, it doesn't. It's just a middle of the road mess. I almost swore. I'm going to correct myself before people start atting me. The song in the bar is How Do You Like Me Now by The Heavy, who is the one from the opening song in Borderlands 2. Again, mixing your video games.
Right. I
I don't like this movie, Boston. It is a
yeah,
middle of the road movie across the board,
yeah.
but it's we didn't even get an F-bomb in a PG-13 movie
Right.
called Borderlands.
Why did Tiny Tina not drop one F-bomb? I really thought she was going to on some line. I don't even remember what it is. I'm like, it like zooms in on her face, and I was like, here it is. They're gonna have the kid drop the F-bomb, and doesn't, and I was like, meh. Like I think the thing that frustrates me so much about this movie, and I have like one more positive to talk about after this, is just I feel so apathetic about it. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
like they have the when Lilith says we better go catch a ride, they get the Borderlands 2 car and they drive it for they see it like driven off for a little bit. Okay, like you have the Borderlands stuff, like the guns look like the guns in the movie, the psychos look like the psychos in the game. I mean, psychos look like the psychos in the game. Pandora looks how it should. The big cities look like they should. Like Marcus nails so much of that stuff. Claptrap talks to a vending machine at some point. That stuff looks right. But like you need so much more than these kind of like scraps you're handing out of like, remember the vending machines? Aha, here's Marcus saying his line. Like it there's nothing of substance more than that in this movie, and anything that is kind of original just feels boring. Like it's just they jump off of a ramp and shoot rockets into this monster's mouth and back out of its skull, and it doesn't even look cool.
No.
Like
it's a Thrasher mode, dude, as well, which is like
right.
one of the things you're scared of in the video games until much later on.
It's just like, and it's frustrating because I think there is some stuff that's good in this movie. Like we said, Cate Blanchett is really solid in this. I really like the guy who plays Marcus. I actually really like how they made Lilith's wings look with a lot of like the blue flame in there. I think that's a really cool choice for that. It's the most like telegraphed thing of like, I wonder who the Firehawk is. And it's like, ugh, God, probably the lady with like the red wig on. It's probably that, like the main character, probably. It has like opening the vault is like one of the like weakest slamming a piece of something into the ground prop thing that ever happens. The interior of the vault,
especially when like 2 seconds earlier Tina had just got a place and a twist.
Right. Like, yeah. I think the interior of the vault looks interesting, but they never really do anything with it other than Atlas being like, look at all of this majesty. And I'm like, it's a bunch of floating boxes. Like, am I supposed to know what this stuff is? Because I don't think I do, and there's no loot in here. And then thankfully they do have the monster, which is like a spoiler for like a 20-year-old game at this point. But like I do like the vault has a monster in it, but it just serves to get rid of Atlas rather than the big kind of like climax fight, which is a bummer.
If you take aside all of the things to do with video games, they don't build the setting enough for it to be interesting for your random Joe audience members. The characters are cookie cutter at best, and very little development gets taken place.
Yep.
And they basically take a bunch of bits and pieces from other potentially arguably better movies.
Right.
And then on the flip side of that, for fans of the video game, there is nothing there. You've twisted the things that people like about the video games into something completely different. And then you're delivery on the things that are relatively cool is not great.
Right. And like, I think the most indicative of the movie's entire problem is the kind of emotional climax at the end of the movie once the vault has been taken care of and Atlas has been taken care of, and they're back in the kind of main town on Pandora, and everybody's celebrating, everybody's kind of taking a minute because there's peace. But like none of it feels like, hey, we did it and now our ragtag group is finally this kind of found family that Lilith and Tina especially need. It's just sort of like, okay, we did it, hooray, credits. And that's also, this is the movie that I was most expecting to have a like post credits thing in it, and it had nothing.
Nope.
And
no, it had 2 seconds of Claptrap doing the
yeah, it's like regular Claptrap stuff. But like, I would have put money. We talked about this at the first part. I would have put money on this movie being like, at least there was a Handsome Jack
we didn't
mask
get the Handsome
somewhere.
Jack.
Like you get his voice at the end of like, we found more vaults, Mr. Jack, or something like that. Literally, it feels the most like they knew how this movie was going to land, and they're like, look, don't even tease the second one. Like, don't even. It's fine. We don't need to do that. It's just the world's most whatever movie, and I think when you look at movies that have done this sort of stuff right, we haven't yet watched the Dungeons and Dragons. I don't remember the subtitle of movie, which came out in 2023, I think it was. We haven't watched that for this show yet. Yes. But like that is a movie that's been widely praised as, okay, you took this property that has never really been done well, especially in movie format before, and seemed like it had kind of an uphill battle, and you made something that turned out really fun and really cool. And then you have Borderlands, which is just like the most sketch of what the game is sort of thing. So you and I were going into this not really expecting much. If you're listening to this along,
turns out we got exactly what we expected.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're watching this along with us, you heard the first part, and I don't think it's worse than I was expecting, but it's just more boring. And like, I would never want to make something like this giant movie, and just have someone say like, yeah, it was really boring. That's the worst. Like, that's just,
yep.
That's so unfortunate.
Like, this is not a movie that you're gonna leave the theater and say to your friends, hey, y'all should really watch this movie.
All right, I'm not coming out of it energized to be at the cinema. I saw an incredible film.
This isn't Midsummer, where you're just like, yo, see nothing, do nothing, go see this movie.
I had an experience at the theater. And this one is more like, hey man, do you want to go to Red Robin? It's across the street.
Hey, I've never been to Red Robin.
It's okay. It's the Borderlands of burgers. It's fine.
Okay. A note for myself for my birthday. Go to the Borderlands of burgers.
That's right. That's right. All right, let's do ratings here real quick. On IMDb, 4.6 out of 10 with 38,000 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, 10% on the tomato meter with 165 critic reviews. 50% on the popcorn meter, but that's only 500 ratings. And
this is not a 5 out of 10 movie, bros. Like,
no. And then Letterboxd says it's at a 1.5 out of 5. I gave this on Letterboxd, I gave it a 1 out of 5 because there's some stuff in here that was well done. And the movie is carried entirely on the shoulders of Cate Blanchett's performance. But that's about it for...
Do I need to, like, make this my very first Letterboxd review?
I mean, Sure.
I literally created my account today.
Oh, there you go. Welcome to Letterboxd.
Thank you.
But I just
If my Wi-Fi worked at all in this household, that would be fantastic.
that's asking a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not great.
No. If you didn't gather over the last hour of us recording, it's not great. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and it's not. I've seen some bad movies, either bad accidentally or bad on purpose. When you look at like, what was that? Gentlemen Broncos has a movie within a movie that is bad on purpose. That's a very bad movie. But this is just, it's not even workmanlike. Like, it's not even like, it's just a miss completely, with very few bright spots. It's a bummer.
Yeah. It's.
I think, I think at the end though, we picked a really good best movie of 2024, and we picked a really good worst movie of 2024. Both of those nailed their respective words, I think.
I mean, that's definitely true. Yeah. I need to figure out how to actually use this Letterboxd app in order to actually, use it.
Yeah. I'll do tutorial.
I don't know. It's like a 1 or a 2 from me, I think. It's fine. I wouldn't choose to watch it.
I don't think I will ever want to watch this again. If someone puts it on,
if someone puts it on, I'm sorry. If
I'm just gonna go.
This on, you could literally put on any other movie and it might be better.
You'd be like, "Yo, dog, you want to watch Schindler's List?" And it's like, "What's the other option?" It's like, "Oh, Borderlands." It's like, "All right, Schindler's List it is. Let's do it."
Put on Fifth Element.
Oh my God, yeah, put on Fifth Element.
Put on The Professional if you're looking for a real R-rated movie.
That's right.
If you're looking for a PG-13, I don't know, Starship Troopers.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, that's season 34. Best and worst of 2024. My only hope coming out of this is we have a better worst movie at the end of 2025. And I'm not sure what that means.
Hold on. I'm going to goose the numbers for our runtime here a little bit.
Uh-huh.
What do you think are some upcoming 2025 movies that might be worse?
Oh, see, here's the problem. I don't keep an eye on any upcoming movies.
Well, the new Superman is coming out in 2025.
I don't know. That looks okay.
Happy Gilmore 2 is scheduled to come out in 2025.
Oh,
Boston.
Okay. That's on the short list. I mean, that can't be good, right? There's no way that can be good.
Flight Risk, the movie they're giving free tickets out for, is on 2025's list.
I mean, also really funny that they just don't mention who the director of that one is. Weird. He directed all these other very famous movies. What's his name? I'm not sure. We didn't catch it. Oh, the Minecraft
that's the
movie.
Director?
Yeah. Did you see who directed Flight Risk?
Yeah, dude.
Uh-huh.
You know we're in trouble based on what our next season's likely to be, if that's your reaction to that, by the way.
Uh-huh. He's a bit of a wrong'un. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes, as you mentioned, Minecraft is 2025.
A live-action Minecraft movie has a lot of ground to... has a big mountain to climb towards getting to be a good movie.
It's got a big mountain to hollow out, dude.
What about the Captain America Brave New World movie, which has been in reshoot hell as they're trying to figure out how to unpoliticize the inherently political movie that is?
Yeah, dude. A spoiler alert, go watch Bucky and Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
right.
The TV show. That's a politicized TV show all kinds of ways, and that's a great TV show, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So are they basically trying to remove all the right-winger bad crap from that movie?
No, they're trying to remove all of the I don't know what other country it is that's basically I would have to look back into it, but it's basically like, oh, due to geopolitical instability in the real world right now, we probably shouldn't cover a lot of this stuff we were building up to. Oh boy, okay.
Russia and Ukraine.
Might be. I don't remember exactly now.
Because, spoiler alert, that's been like that for a long time.
Yeah. Mickey 17.
There's a Karate Kid movie.
Ugh, yikes. Mickey 17 will likely be bad. I don't know what else is going to be bad here.
There's I know what you did last summer.
Oh, cool. Yeah, really, strike 'em while the iron's hot there.
I hate to say this, but Tron is scheduled to come out next year, dude.
Yeah, I just
Please be good. Please be good. Please be good.
You want to talk
good,
about wrong-ins in a lead role of movies that I'm excited to see?
Oh, Jared Leto.
Putting Jared Leto in another movie?
Oh.
Why? Leave him on his creeper island.
Yeah, he literally has a cult island. Let him
leave
go
him
be there
where he belongs,
forever.
Allegedly. If you like this little addendum here we had on the end of this episode, you would love...
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I was
Before you promote
winding
what
up
you're
for a
about to
pitch here.
promote.
Yeah, go ahead.
My final thing. My final thing. Schedule for 2025. I doubt it. I 100% doubt it. The Running Man remake.
Oh, who's in that?
Oh no, it's not about who's in it. This is a good one. This is the opposite side of the scale, Boston.
Oh.
Because this is Edgar Wright's The Running Man.
I'm sold. Let's do it. Best of 2025. Let's pencil it in on the list. Even if it's not great, it will probably be fun.
And it's got Glenn Powell in it, dude.
Great. Love it. Love it. Anyways, if you love this little addendum here on the end of this episode, that's just a Critical Misses production meeting. That's literally what the production meetings are, for like at least an hour for each one of them. If you want to get those...
With much more swearing.
Much more swearing, yeah. And much more psychic damage. Well, we did a lot in this one. But if you like that, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
The $5 tier is a recommended one that gets you the production meeting episode exclusively over there. We have one between every season. So there's going to be one between this season and whatever season 35 is that we have been writing in, darker and darker pencil as we've been going for the last probably about 6 months. And we're going to try and angle right towards that. A very similar desert, dystopian sort of thing. And hopefully that will be season 35. But thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.